Ignore Trump. Do this. Focus on what matters most. I'm going to break it down to you what it is. ESGN. ESGN. And if you don't know what that is, hi, I'm Darren Monroe. I worked on Kamala Harris's campaign. I used to do the marketing for Jay-Z, Eminem, Limp Bizkit, Nelly Furtado, The Roots, through Universal, DreamWorks, MCA, Def Jam, Rockefeller. Boom. Right here in Chicago. I would represent them. And these days, I'm taking you from chaos to clarity. In other words, what that means is how to go from being nuts to about everything Trump does to focusing. Fuck Trump. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what we need to focus on. He's doing everything. Overnight, he's trying to, send the military after people, who burn the flag. And then he's trying to go after FBI directors, former directors, and he's firing people, and he's doing all this crazy stuff. And here's what I'm telling people. Calm it down. Here's what we're going to do. And this is what I teach in my clarity group. My clarity group's on sale right now. You need to get in there. Link in the description and link on the home page, clarity group. Here's the thing. What I'm telling people, straightforward, is this. Instead of worrying about what this chump Ladoon is doing, what this dummy is doing, what this weirdo creepo is doing, I give a different approach to things, which is, hey, listen, focus on the things that we're winning at that are going to destroy his administration. ESGN. What's ESGN? That stands for Epstein, shutdown, gerrymandering, no kings. Put it in the comment. Put it in the comment. Epstein, shutdown, gerrymandering, no kings. Think about it. These cowards, or GOP, or as I call them, governing over pedophiles. The whole idea is that these guys, the governing over pedophiles, put real GOP in the comments. Put real GOP. Here's the thing. What's happening is these guys are covering and protecting and have the audacity. The right has no conscience. The left has had no courage. So what we need to do is mix up the courage, because we got the consciousness part, but we need to step up on the courage. They need to step out and just say shit. Need to bring it down. That's what it really comes down to, everybody. Enough is enough of this bullshit, where we're sitting here taking all of this crap from these guys. And what we're looking for is innovative leadership. Again, I told you, I worked 30 years marketing, branding here for Chicago, right? And I'm trying to tell you right now that the biggest thing that we could be doing is getting innovative out of Congress. Now, keep in mind, governors, the 23 governors and attorney generals, they've been creative. The nonprofits, they've been creative. How do we know? Because for the last 36 weeks, they've been fighting for us. They've released trillions of dollars that were hung up in the executive branch. They have also had the nonprofit, both groups have been suing and winning, and the ACLU got creative after they froze the national injunctions for judges and found ways to get class action suits in there to make them national injunctions, like for Planned Parenthood and other things. So we have seen some creativity. We've seen a lot of it. We've seen a lot of creativity. But where we really have to excel, where we really have to go and really push the needle, and we have to set the tone on, how can we begin to look at this strategically? And that's what I teach in my clarity group. How do you look at this strategically and say, one, how do you decode the drama that he's doing? I'll give you an example. Right now, everything he's doing is designed to make him look powerful, and at the same time, because he's weak, and at the same time designed to try to terrorize people psychologically. They're trying to, it's like that old picture you might have seen of the elephant tied to a plastic chair. And the elephant doesn't move because the elephant has been psychologically taught to think that that's something that holds it when it doesn't. Think about that. The other thing you got to understand with this guy is, other than decoding the drama and realizing what he's doing, is because this is PSYOPs. Every Tuesday In my clarity group, I do something called narrative warfare. I decode the shit that he's doing. And then I do assessments, or at least I try to do them daily, and do assessments of the latest crap that he's put out there and decode that shit. Here's the other thing that happens that we need to do, and that is identify the data. What's the data that we know? Well, you can go on Case Tracker and look online and even through Chat GPT or Google, either one, and find out how many cases has Trump won and lost in his administration. It's crazy. Because when you look at temporary injunctions, national injunctions, permanent injunctions, and state injunctions and actual cases, when you put all of that together, you're talking about damn near 200 cases. And out of that, he's lost over 140. But the left ain't reporting that. They too busy reporting the drama. You got three groups in the left we got a problem with, ladies and gentlemen. It is the ACDs. Put in the comments, to heck with the ACDs. I know they'll flag your comment if you say fuck them, but you know, don't say the F word, because they'll flag your comment and then they won't even show up. But say, down with ACDs. Ignore the ACDs in the comments. ACDs. What are ACDs? Alarmists, conspiracy people, and doomsday people. Oh, the world, and Trump's latest news, breaking news, with no context of what it means. When he says that he's going out arresting American citizens for burning the flag, breaking the Hatch Act, yet another thing, what does it mean? It's one thing to tell that story. What does it mean? It means that it's just one more thing that everybody who follows that order will be brought in on Senate hearings, lose their jobs, and actually could go to jail on. A lot of people going to jail, y'all. For real. Last 36 weeks, oh, there's a motherfucker going to jail. You don't have 10 plus prosecutors out the Southern District of New York leaving because they ain't worried about jail. You don't have the U.S. attorney for the state of Virginia leaving because they don't think they're going to jail. You don't have a prosecutor from the U.S. Attorney's Office, either in Sacramento or San Diego. I get it mixed up. But leaving because, or getting fired in that case, because they were telling ICE to follow what the judge's orders are. These are people, they're breaking laws left and right. And what I'm trying to tell you is that these alarmists come out, oh, breaking news, but they don't give you the context of what breaking news means. The next group is the conspiracy theorists. Well, Kamala's gonna come out of nowhere and take over. That shit's old, isn't it? I told everybody in the middle of November, I said, listen, this don't look right. The election math ain't math, and I know they stole the you-know-what. I feel like it, especially across 4 states, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. But here's the thing I keep bringing back to people. I'm like, yo, listen, despite all of that stuff that's happened, and we're looking at we're looking at all this stuff that's happened, okay? She's not coming for this. She's not taking over. She's going to, at the earliest, run for president in 2028. And I said that in the middle of November, and people aren't, it was still conspiracy. And they're still doing conspiracy. Like they're doing the Charlie Kirk. Did you see? It wasn't an actual person. It was a drone that got him. And you see the hand signals behind Charlie Kirk. It's like, motherfucker, please. That ain't something we need to focus on. That's some bullshit. What, could it have been the deep state or blah, blah? Sure, I'm open to that. But let's get into some plain common sense, damn. And then finally, the doomsday people. It's the end of democracy. Even Don Lemon's out there talking about, we're in fascism. Like, really? Really, Don Lemon? Now, you've traveled around the world, Don Lemon. How could you be saying that? Because you know damn well, if we were in fascism, what came out of your mouth would have you in jail or dead in Russia, in North Korea, in Iran. What are you doing in Argentina? I mean, you think for 1 second, that this is the case? No, no. My point is this. Stop listening to alarmists. Stop listening to conspiracy theorists. Stop listening to doomsday people. But it gets a little deeper than that. Let's take it to that next level. So decoding the drama, identifying the data, so we're not listening to the ACDs, right? Let's take it to that third part, development. You know, I don't think all of us are guilty, are developing ourselves enough. And that's why I come in with the clarity group. What are you thinking? No, I'm not fucking with you. What are you thinking? Our thoughts become things. Our thoughts become words. Our words become actions. Our actions become habits. Our habits become character, and our character becomes destiny. Where you want to be in the next 170 weeks, meaning 41 months of Trumpism, where do you want to be? Because if you're depending your whole life on other people, you ain't going to make it. That's the truth. And that's what I teach in the clarity group. How do you focus more on you? You know what I mean? Motivation doesn't get you where you're at. Habits do. Watching a video is nice, but how do you repeatedly hear that training and conditioning in your mind? How do you turn it up? Because you should. And the reality is that if you're focusing more on you, because in the old, outcast saying, you and I got to do for you and I, if you're focusing more on you, you can do that. Today, I'm doing a live called How to Empower Your Peace in the Midst of Trumpism on Saturday. You should come in. You should come into the clarity group and hear it for yourself. The idea is, how do we make a better you? On Tuesdays, I'm teaching how to unplug the psychological psyops that are going on with Trump, how to empower you, how to deal with narrative warfare that's happening on you. On Thursdays, we're doing a book club with Kamala Harris, 107 Days in Between the Lines. We're going through her book, but we're basically reading in between the lines and discussing that. Right now, we're up to the 102nd day this coming week, but we've done up to 106 days last Thursday, and there is a replay for that, and there will be replays for all of these. The idea is, what are you doing to develop a better you? Because fuck him, it's about you. What's your plan before and after Trump? Because these motherfuckers don't control you. This is coming from the guy who's had his own business for 20 years. I started from a FEMA paid for a hotel, running away from Hurricane Katrina because I was working in Clear Channel Radio. Here's where I'm at now, downtown Chicago, 30 plus flights up. And I'm trying to tell people, it's a way about life and thinking that you have to look at. Think about the pandemic. That's the greatest example. You know how many lives changed in the pandemic? I'm talking beyond people dying and COVID. I'm talking about people locked in their homes. They began to look at their friends, their family different. Divorce rate went up. They began to look at their lives differently. They stopped going into the office. Office space is hurting across America right now because of that. Because they're like, man, I can work remotely. What's the problem? What's going on? It killed a lot of fallacies and it woke people up. And what I'm saying to you is that you can decode the drama, you can identify the data, and then you can develop you. Now, here's the catch. I got a little catch for you because some people get caught up into this. There's some of you who are caught up into the idea that you can change people. You cannot. You cannot. You can't change people. Because the first thing people want to say, well, share it with my cousin. Could you tell my brother? Could you tell me? Yeah, I can do a video. But here's the thing. The real question becomes, will they accept it? You can show people, the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but that don't mean they're going to drink. You can show people, but you can't change people. Only thing you can change is you. There's a quadrant here, okay? The upper quadrant is what you control and what your priority is, what you don't control, and the lower quadrants are what you don't control and what your what your priorities aren't, but what's not your priority. Okay? And there are too many people out there who are freaking out over what they can try to control. And I'm telling them, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that stuff you can't control in the side of your priority. It doesn't mean you don't donate or work a little bit to help people. I usually give the comparison of those videos where the lion is eating the dog. A dog, man. And that breaks my heart. I love dogs. And the lion eating the dog. And I'm like, I want to help, but the most I can help is give to the Animal Cruelty Society or whatever society hunts down evil lions for eating dogs, you know? But that is not my priority. And that's not something I control. And you got to begin to look at that for you repeatedly. See, getting into the right mindset to develop yourself is not something that just happens once. It's repeatedly. Or as Zig Ziglar say, motivation is like a bath. You need it daily. You need to continually mind your thoughts. You have tens of thousands of thoughts every day. You need to mind your thoughts. What are you thinking? What are you doing? Where are you going? And when you're on that, you have no time for Trumpism. You have no time for bullshit. Yes, it's horrible, the things that are happening that you do not control. Listen to what I just said, that you do not control. And some of that shit ain't your priority. It ain't that you don't love and don't care, but some of that shit ain't your priority. You need to do you, and you need to do what you can out there. See, out here, all I can do is support the narrative of what they're doing. In other words, hey, we got three groups fighting for us. We got the 23 governors and attorney generals, the nonprofits like ACLU, NAACP, Indivisible.org, and hundreds of others. And then we have the other group of lowercase judges by the hundreds. There's 677 judges in 94 districts across 50 states. Not all of them on our side, but there are judges that have been proven in the last 36 weeks that we have people out of Reagan, both Bush, and Trump appointed judges who are saying, no, this is against the law, motherfucker. You can't do this. You can't do this shit. And because they're fighting, what can we do to help them? Obviously, join the nonprofit organizations. Send a letter of encouragement to the judges. Some people have even written the Supreme Court arguing, but support the lowercase judges, which handle 99%. That's what I mean by understanding, identifying the data. Okay? So when the drama is, oh, Supreme Court is coming in and ruled this, and that's what the alarmists, the A out of the ACD, tell you. But what they're not telling you is that that's only 1% and that 99% are lowercase judges. Then there's another element that's happening here, which is the ability with these people fighting. You can support your 23 governors, attorney generals, you know. Find out. Send them a letter. I've told people last 10 months, if you email any governor's office in the Democratic or attorney general say, how do I help you fight Trump? I guarantee you almost 90% of everybody I've told that to got a reply back. And I don't mean just a general reply. They got to follow up. You can also chat GPT. Now you can chat GPT that shit. Now, how do I help the 23 Democratic governors fight back? Game. Now, beyond that shit, what can you do? Right here. Share this video with everybody, please. And notice I don't hardly ever ask that. But I'm going to start saying it more. Share this video with other people because it can touch their lives and help them. But the idea is that sharing this type of clarity and this type of reality that's going on is one of the most important things you could do. That's the power, because you got influence with hundreds, and some of you thousands, and others even tens of thousands of people. Share it. Here's the thing. When we're sharing information, when we're part of these organizations and helping support them, whether it be financially, whether it be them in their their careers and what they're doing as far as activism, whether it be out there activism or spreading their videos. And when we're encouraging the 23 governors and attorney generals and asking how can we help, and of course, yes, stay in touch with your Congress, but that gets burnt out, doesn't it? They keep telling you, get in touch with your Congress. What's great about indivisible.org, they have templates even if you're in red states. So you definitely want to sign up to their email list, join anything they got locally. They're awesome. Kamala Harris's campaign told me about Indivisible. I didn't know nothing about them. They're not a sponsor of me or anything, but I mention them all the time because I learned about them through Kamala Harris's campaign after we lost. Okay. The other thing I want you to do is, other than that, is invest in yourself. Get over in the Clarity Group. And the reason I put that out there is that I'm the only group of its kind in the world talking about here's how you decode the Trump bullshit. Here's how you identify the data. And here's what you're going to do to build a better you, because it's all about you. It's all about you. That's why today, Saturday, I'm talking about how to empower your peace in the midst of Trumpism. Fuck that dude forever. Stop worrying about him. Focus on you. I'm going all out. And I'm telling you right now that all of you should go all out. Next 70 weeks, I'm going to be a healthier person. I'm changing it around. I'm going to be greater, even mentally, spiritually, emotionally than I am now. I'm working on me. And I help you work on you in that group. Because the reality is, they want you and your attention and to take you away and this, that, and the other. I want to grab you and say, come here, mother. Come in. Get over here. Stop listening to that shit. Get over here. The ACDs, the hell with them. Get over here. ESGN, Epstein, shutdown, gerrymandering, and no king. So let's talk about that. The Epstein has not gone away. It's gotten even better. I think the biggest thing that's going to come out of Epstein is going to be these ladies who are victims who are going to put together a list. That's going to be the only real Epstein list. And the only way we're going to believe the Epstein list is only one way. Only one way we know is absolutely true in all the facts. One way that's certified that all of you will 100% agree with me on. They're going, when they release these lists, because Mike Johnson's trying to hold off, the Arizona congressperson from being the 218th signer and get the Epstein files released because they know it's going to be hell to play with Trump and the whole society. But the one thing we know, and I've said for months, that, there's no way that they're going to release the whole list, right? I finally thought about something. There is one way. There's actually two that we'll know. And the first one I just said, the victims compiling their own list. Nobody's going to question them, right? They had enough questioning as it is, and nobody's supporting them. But there's a second way. When they release that list, there's a plan with the Democrats to run that list by the attorneys of the victims. If they say, yep, that's what we saw, I'll believe it. And you should too. That's the official, because they're representing their clients and they ain't gonna go to jail lying against their own clients about what they saw. They know what it looked like. They know the details. Between that and the ladies coming up, and I'm really excited about the ladies coming up with their own list. See, that's what I'm excited about, because, man, they come up with their own list. They gon' because they gonna name shit that ain't in the Epstein list. I keep telling y'all, and I say this in my Clarity group, I got part 4 and part 5 dropping about grooming and about military. I have a multi-part series on Epstein, and one of the things I broke out to everybody was, this is much bigger than you think. If sex trafficking were New York City, Epstein would be the stamp on a postcard in the sub-basement of the Empire State Building. He's nothing. He's like a microscopic grain on this wall. He is nothing. Gangster. It is on. And let me tell you, it's happening right now. It's been happening for 100 plus years. I open up the whole thing. I can only say so much on YouTube. Y'all know how they are. They scared as hell. They just gave this man 24 million in a lawsuit. But I'm trying to break out to you that this is much bigger than you think. Much bigger than you think. And I say all of that to say that right now, what we're dealing with right now, we're in a situation. We're in a situation where this coming out is going to reveal a lot of people that they don't want revealed. And I say, fuck it, put it out, do what has to be done. And what I'm also saying is that in this society, they're moving for things, not just sex. They're moving drugs, they're moving money, and to some degree, guns. And I talk about that in my Epstein series in Clarity Group. When you join us under Classroom, write this down, under Classroom, and then go under Clarity Reports. You'll see it for yourself. I'm going to tell you something. I think Epstein's one of the biggest things that have come to help us fight Trump. And the Dems have been smart enough to stay on it. And it's smart enough for us to stay on it. Epstein. ESGN. Let's talk about the S. Shutdown. We're in the middle of a shutdown. Was it day 3? Shutdown. And it's going to go for a while. I believe that Trump and them are such punk asses, they may fold, they may cave on these subsidies. Because Democrats are saying, listen, you talking about removing subsidies for millions of Americans through the Affordable Care Act. You talking about fucking them up. Literally, people could die by the thousands, slowly or quickly. And though I think that they should have fought to get the Medicaid stuff dropped from the big beautiful bill, I know it's kind of one at a time. Let's have a priority we focus on. And for once, Jeffries and Schumer are on accord, even though they've been horrible minority leaders. Yes, I know. I've screamed throughout this channel on YouTube to get rid of them. They gotta go. They gotta go. They're horrible. They suck. Suck big time. What I am telling people, though, is to stay strong, understand that we share, because right now we're winning. 47% of Americans believe that this is Trump's fault. Right on them. We need to keep going with that. We need to keep going with that narrative. That's actually good, everybody. 47% is good. Because some are just don't have an opinion at all. So it's not like the other 53% believe that it's the Democrats. No. What I'm saying is that we are, in fact, winning the war of narrative right now. It's important to win the war of narrative. As I get into the shutdown talk, and then I'll get on the gerrymander, it's important, and here's why that's important, everybody. Understand this. The war of narrative kicked our ass through Trump in June. And June 14th, he had his little piddling bullshit parade, right? And it was horrible. He cussed out Hegseth. He was so mad. The parade looked like garbage. It was just bad, right? Then here's what happened. We had, at the same day, we had No King's Day, the first one. And there were 10 million people across 2,000 events. 10 million across 2,000 events. And what happened, or what began to happen that we saw, was a metamorphosis. Understand, Donald Trump is not interested. There are basically 5 parts to this movement. There are the politicians that I mentioned, like 23 governors, attorney generals who are fighting. There are, people who are fighting locally and regionally, whether it be mayors or county presidents, so on, right? Then there are the second group of people, which is the activists who are out in the street doing what they're doing. And then the next step down is the streets, the gangsters, the people who are making moves as ICE comes into the streets, or the street organizations, which are legal, the legal ones who are making moves, nonprofits to fight and do what they're doing. So there's one thing, protest, activism, street. There's nothing what they're doing moves-wise to prepare and counteract and fight Trump. Then there's the branding. What is it? No King's Day. No King's Day. Whereas I've created something called ESGN. Epstein shut down, gerrymandering, no King's Day. Boom, boom, right here, right here, right here, right here, right? Then there's the marketing. And here's what kicked our ass in June. The marketing. Because what Donald Trump did was brilliant. He came out and marketed it. You got to understand, Trump ain't interested in the politics, the activism, the streets, but he's good at the branding and the marketing. And we got good branding. And branding's just what can we say that gets people to remember? No King's Day. Fuck Trump. Yeah, no King's Day. Then right here, marketing. What you can do, like I said earlier, is get people out there to see these videos like this, see this video and other videos that talk about the shutdown truth, that talk about the gerrymandering truth, that talks about the no kings truth, that talks about the Epstein truth. So that's the important part. And we got tens of millions. That's the good news. That's great. We just have to push that narrative. Because what Trump's going to do after No King's Day on October 18th, he's going to try to diminish that with some drama. Like I said, in the Clarity Group, it's about decoding the drama, identifying the data, and developing a better you. And in here, what he did in June was brilliant. I'm impressed. He, inside of 7 days, made 10 million people across 2,000 events disappear almost. Because everybody started talking about, I might bomb Iran. I'm going to bomb Iran. I could bomb Iran. I bomb Iran. Let's have peace now because I bombed you. I'm trying to tell you that was gangster as fuck. He took over the whole narrative. In fact, that's when I started training on Tuesdays, narrative warfare. So you get your head out your ass and not be freaked out about this man doing this. But he did that shit and it was gangster. It was. Respect. I respect my enemies. Gangster. Now, what can you be doing? What do you make you how do you make you a better you? How do you get focused going forward? Let's think about this for a minute. So here we are, unwrapping this in the middle of shutdown, right? What we have to do is make sure that we're out marketing with that shutdown as we do it. So they know the narrative is that the Democrats created the shutdown. It's the Republicans that set the fire off. Then there's G, gerrymandering. This is great because it's not led by Congress, it's led by the 23 governors. And they rock. And they are fighting back to gerrymander the shit out of it. And whatever word we can spread on it, whatever word we can share on it, do it. Just do it. Repeat it. The vote that's happening to get out in California for gerrymander, anything that happens for that activism-wise, great. And then the last one is no care. And what's good about the gerrymandering, and people have asked me, are they going to win? Are they going to win? I don't know. I don't know. But it's good to see somebody fighting with courage. You see, when we tried to do the impeachment on the Democratic side, 120 Dems voted against impeaching Trump for Iran bombing. They couldn't have won, yes, but it wasn't about that. It was about doing what needed to be done. It was about fighting back, not just capitulating. Don't be no punk ass biatch, you know? And so what I'm going back to people and saying is, listen, in this gerrymandering, I think it's good for the spirit. Because, see, the governors, I want you to understand, if you haven't been watching them, the 23 governors and attorney generals, they got a whole different type of swagger. Think about it. A U.S. attorney for the state of Virginia resigned because he said, I don't have anything on Letitia James. I ain't feeling that. I can't do it. I thought that was and he's definitely not a Kamala Harris voter, not a Democrat. He walked away. He said, can't do this. That's the type of fights we got going on. And I'm trying to get you to understand, it feels good to see that we have leadership, but it's not in Congress. It's in the 23 governors and attorney generals, and they've been fighting for us for the last 36 weeks. Then let's get over to No King's Day, because we've had this, and then I'm going to do a wrap-up here talking about this. No King's Day is indivisible.org or nokings.org, and they're getting out with their events. My fear of No King's Day is this. Do not, and this is a big deal, the biggest thing we can do is not get distracted by the latest Trump bullshit. Now, since Epstein's come out, now everybody sees his plan. Oh, you just trying to distract us from Epstein. Well, it's not just Epstein. It's Epstein, shut down, gerrymandered, No King's Day. So we know what he did in June, right? I might bomb Iran. Whatever he comes up with after No King's Day or during No King's Day or during and after No King's Day, we need to be aware, motherfucker. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Aware. To be aware is to be what? Alive. And I'm telling people, stay the fuck woke. Hands down. Woke. I'm trying to tell you that the biggest issue that we're going to have is the marketing of it. Remember, I told you, politics, activism. I'm unpacking a lot, I know, but politics, activism, and streets and branding, but the marketing end. It's coming from 30 years marketing. I'm telling you. And marketing is doing this. The difference between branding and marketing is this for everyday people. Branding is looking unique. Marketing gets people in business. Marketing gets people to the store. Sales clarifies what the offer is. But branding is the reason you bought. You might have went to that store because you liked their website or what they were doing, what they were saying in their video, and it was very easy to buy. Or you might have gone into a store and had the same experience. Let's say you go into a restaurant. I just went to a restaurant yesterday with my cousin Tyler and her son, my other cousin CJ, really great people. And I'm sitting there at a place called Victory Lap in South Loop. It was a brilliant place. I'll never forget that place. It was easy to book a reservation. They were friendly. They were personable. They were kind. They gave us great service. Oh, they'll get recommended all day long. And the food was great. The food was great. They'll get recommended all day long. I love them. I love them. They are I love them. But think about that brand. It was that branding. The marketing of the place might have brought them there. Actually, my cousin Tyler recommended it. But that's the other thing about branding. When they like a brand, people pick up on it and run with it. What we have a problem with in the political side is the marketing. Marketing is getting people there. Now, they had no shortage of people coming there to that restaurant, that little restaurant. But it was really great and great environment, and they loved the food. But here's the thing. The marketing part is getting people there, spreading word. You know how many restaurants went out of business they built and had great food, but they didn't do any marketing. Same thing with this movement, because Trump will outbrand and market motherfuckers left and right. It's catch-up time. How do we do that? How do we fight Trump? Spreading videos like this, spreading videos out. Biggest thing we can do. Biggest thing we can do. The other thing that you got to understand is that after you've spread word on videos and continue to do that repeatedly, because that is powerful. That's no bullshit. That's one of the biggest things you can do, because we have millions of people who are contacting Congress. But you want to do something else? Maybe you're tired of contacting Congress. Maybe you're in a red state. Even if you got, templates for contacting the red state, when you're in Texas or something and you're part of Indivisible and they give you indivisible.org and they give you templates, and maybe you're tired of doing that. Here's something you can do. I am not kidding. This is no bullshit. Spread word on social media. It will kick their ass. We got tens of millions of people. Share this video with everybody you got. I'm not kidding. I'm trying to get you to understand that that actually helps the marketing of the movement. Because we already have no King's Day for branding. We got the politician, 23 attorney generals and governors, and even Congress, Schumer and Jeffries' dumbass are finally on board. We got the activism in the streets. We got even street organizations, whether they be the illegal kind or the legal kind, nonprofits, who are out there doing their thing to fight. But then this part, the marketing effort, that's where you can come in. That's one of the biggest things you can do. But after that, let's look at beyond that, because No King's Day is coming October 18th, any moment, and it's not about the moment; it's about the marketing. Think about what I just said. Because Trump is not interested about the moment; he's interested in the marketing. That's why he's serving fries out of McDonald's and barely getting into garbage trucks. He's going to have USC fighting in the White House. That's why he's doing it. That's why he's going to have the $400 million Qatar plane. That's why he's going to have the alligator Alcatraz before it shut down. And that's why he's opening up the real Alcatraz. That's why he's doing this shit. Not only just to avoid ESGN and Epstein and all the other things. Before the ESGN, it was the big beautiful bill, and it was this. It was all of his bullshit he didn't want you seeing. He'd rather you talk about his sensationalism. He's going to do that. That is his. He's a Sith Lord of that. He is the emperor of that. He's the, Yoda of that. This guy is brilliant at that. But here's the good news. We know his patterns. We know what he's doing. We most people, average everyday people know what's going on. He's trying to cover up for Epstein and other stuff. So the point is, we need to continue to push the narrative. Continue to push the narrative. And stay on point and stay on track. Because he's going to try this every single day. He's going to try to screw us over every moment he has. I'm going to get some water here. He's going to try to screw us every moment he has. So let me recap and unpack some of this as I go into the last phase of this. So we know that this drama can be decoded. I have a clarity group for that, decoding it every day. 2, we can identify the data that's real that makes sense. 3, we can develop ourselves. And I got a bunch of trainings coming this weekend on how to do that with yourself. How do you get your inner you going on in the clarity group? Because the idea is, how do you work on you in the midst of all of this? Because if you can't take care of you, fuck out there, you can't do anything. Then we know for a fact that as we're doing these 3Ds, the data decoding, the drama decoding, the data identifying, and the developing of ourselves, we know that we have some issues with these ACDs, the alarmists, the conspiracists, and the doomsday people, and how we need to take a long ACD colonic and get rid of these people. We know that all of the drama that Trump is bringing in is designed to cover up ESGN, and that Epstein's list is the thing that can really take him out and take him down and a lot of other people. We also know that the shutdown, even though it's in its early stages, I think that the man even might cave over time, but we'll see. We'll stretch, it'll go as long as it needs to go. But we're in it for the long haul. And finally, our congressional leaders are on board on the same accord for once. We also know that Gerrymandering is headed up by the 23 governors and attorney generals. And they are fighting like left and right. And God bless them. We appreciate them because they've been fighting for the last 36 weeks. They're the real Democratic leadership, for real. And what we also know is that this battle may be won or lost through gerrymandering, but it feels good to see somebody fight with some swagger and courage. We also know that the No King's Day is coming up October 18th, but it's not about that event. And hopefully, Indivisible has learned from their last mistake in June, because he's going to come up with a narrative. There might be Iran. I might bomb Iran scenario. And what we have to do is identify this shit real quick and kick his ass and be able to fight back. What we also know is that in the midst of this horrific battle that we're back and forth with, that we're dealing with, all the drama that we're dealing with, that we're going to keep ourselves at peace and our minds focused. But we're going to do this not by ourselves because it's stupid. That's why I have a group. It was one thing to have a group talking about politics. We ain't doing that. It's about talking about better things than politics and how do we become better people and how the truth is being fought out there. You got to invest in you. You got to get in your mindset. You're more valuable than you think. Let me ask you this. How much money do you spend on smiling? I'm not talking about having a great smile like dentistry. I'm talking about spend on smiling, on feeling good without, drugs or anything. But real, the natural endorphins. How much do you spend on that? How much investment in you do you do? I often tell people that one of the biggest things that you could do is invest in yourself. And the idea of being able to be a better you. It's not just about all the drama. It's about being a better you. What we're dealing with right now, though horrific, can be broken down as I've done in this last 40 plus minutes. That we can decode drama, we can identify data, and we can develop better selves. We can avoid the ACDs, alarmist conspiracists, and doomsday people. We can do that. But even if you know the framework that I just brought to you, even though you understand how we use that framework to develop a formula that does that, what comes after that? The strategy and the regimen. The strategy means what's the strategy to keep it going, and what's the regimen you showing up consistently to fight it. People can put together a health plan for you. That's the format. People can give you a formula of how you're going to do it, how you're going to day-to-day deal with things. People can give you a strategy on how to tackle it. Okay, you're going to do this in 90 days. But if you don't show up and do the regimen, and that's where I'm at right now to get healthier, if you ain't doing the regimen, that don't mean shit. You can know all that shit. It's like those people who know about manifestation and personal development. They understand it intellectually, but they don't experience it emotionally, nor do they apply it in their lives. They are not professing what they're ingesting. They're not coming out with they're not projecting that. It's just like those people who come out of church, Torah, or synagogue. They come out of, the church, the temple, or the synagogue, and they come out of there, or the mosque, and they're all spirited up, but they ain't applying a damn thing. I can't tell you how many Christians I saw who go to church who some of the evilest sons of bitches ever, and you've seen them. I'm just trying to tell you right now, there's a lot of people who go for this, but they ain't applied it in their life. In order to do that, it not only takes instruction, but it takes a serious amount of focus. I want you to grasp something. I want you to understand that what we're dealing with right now is one of the most important things we can do. What we're dealing with right now is one of the greatest pounds of amounts of development that we can have in our lives, despite what's happening with Trump. It's not just words of encouragement here, fuck that. I'm trying to tell you what's really going on is that if you lean into this motherfucker every time some stupid shit come up, after what I just said in almost an hour, something's wrong with you. You gotta get some help. Because I'm not gonna be freaked out and frazzled over every damn thing this man's saying. Every damn thing this man said. Y'all crazy. No, fuck him. Make a better you. Fuck him. Do what you can do out there and work in activism. Whatever way you feel best that you can do. Fuck him. Show up. But if you just sit there and say, I'm just waiting for this to pass. No, bitch. Don't wait. Pull your ass together and get active and work on you while you at this shit. No matter what happens out there, making a better you makes you the best you all day long. Because you can control one core thing, you. Your attitude, your actions, you control that. How you feel, you control that. Where you focus, you control that. What you say to yourself, you control that. What you think, because thoughts become words, become actions, become habits, become character, become your destiny. You can control that. You can't control a damn thing other grown-ass people doing, including people on the left. We got too many people on the left going out there talking about, oh, but they don't understand what I listened from you. I understand. You know, I've been in business for 20 years with my own business, and I remember this spiritual man called me the minister of money. Because I be talking about it, man. I believe in it. I don't believe what's happening right now has to do with capitalism. It has everything to do with character. Because there are capitalists who supported Kamala. I saw them. Billionaires. You think that out of 900 billionaires in America, they're all supporting Trump? Oh, they all don't like that motherfucker. They don't like him. For a variety of reasons. But same thing with the 22 million millionaires in America. Not all of them are Trumpers, y'all. No, not, and I'm not even saying the minority are Democrats. I'm saying that there could be a lot of people who are just like, this guy's out. But they're waiting him out because they got the money to wait him out. But they're also at the same time developing them. See, what real entrepreneurs know is we develop ourselves. That's why I have another group called the Moneymakers Group. We develop us. That's what it's about. I want y'all to understand that. I want y'all to grasp that. Because if you're not developing you, how can you get out here and help them? You can't help your neighbors when you ain't even chopping it up at your own table. Come on now. Here's the other thing I want you to understand. That now that we know the framework of what he's doing, and that we, again, you may think you know this, but you need to hear this repeatedly and is in a totally in-depth way in the clarity group. I'm coming with charts and graphs coming up. I am really starting to go multimedia with this shit. You need to invest more in you so that you can not only decode the drama and identify the data, but develop a better you while ignoring the ACDs. And again, the ACDs, there are people out there who are alarming you. There are people out there doing the conspiracy thing. There are people out there doom scrolling. I tell people there's certain, in clarity group, there's a ACD free zone. We don't play that shit. Breaking news. No, motherfucker. Ain't happening. What I got to get you to understand, as much as possible, everyone, is to realize that what we're going through, this process is going to make us stronger. Not only as a country, but you as a person, you can be a stronger person. If you're listening over and over and over to this, and you've listened this far into everything I'm saying, You should all either, one, already be a Clarity member, or two, going to be a Clarity member. Because I'm telling you right now, the real truth in the matter of dealing with this comes down to this. How much more projectively powerful are you? Now, I noticed I didn't say Trump. I didn't say Democrats. I said you. Are you going to get through this? Make a decision now and think about that. And how do you want to get through this? How do you want to project power through this? How do you want to step up through this? You're more valuable than you think. How are you going to do it other than just watching breaking news? How are you going to do that? Because it's one thing to give you a framework. I've just given you that. It's one thing to talk about the formula. I've just given you that. And ignoring the ACDs and understanding ESGN. And it's nothing to have a strategy, what you're going to do forward. But then it takes an amount of regimen. And that's going to be an intensity you've never seen before. Hear me talk tonight. Come on in the Clarity Group. It's on sale. It's a third of the price right now. It's normally $60 a month, $297 for the year, but I got a sale and you can get in. If you don't see the sale, that means you missed the sale, but at least get in on the sale and benefit you, invest in you. This ain't about giving me money. This is about you investing in you. How important are you to you? The number one thing people in the Clarity Group say is that I make them feel 1,000% better because they understand what's going on. They get the continual training and they get the continual conditioning in a good way, not sipping the Kool-Aid, not MAGA-esque, but really continual training to be better people instead of, just sitting there stressing out over what happens with Trump. Because that's not where it's going to take you. Where life is going to take you is your ability to build a better person in spite of politics, in spite of democracy, in spite of Trump. Where these things are going to do is just elevate you to the next level of where you need to be. You're more valuable than you think. What you have to do is redesign your life. Here's a great opportunity. For the next 170 plus weeks of Trumpism, meaning 41 months. And understand, overall as a country, 3,000 months is how long, almost 3,000 months is how long this country has existed. He ain't nothing but a flash in the pan. Fuck this guy. Understand that at the end of the day, we're still going to have some, we're going to have to address some problems long after Trump. Whoever comes in on the Democratic side, let's say it's Kamala, that's who I think is going to run and win. She's still got to rebuild shit for the next 4 years plus. And all during that time, they're going to do it just like they did Obama. Well, why haven't he had change? Why didn't we have anything? Because they were trying to fix all the stupid shit you voted for, you stupid motherfuckers. Basically, we were, why didn't we have this? I'm like, I really need you to understand that this is your biggest moment to show up for yourself. This is your biggest moment to do you. Like I said with the old outcast, you and I got to do for you and I. What are you doing for you? Think about that. Think about it. Facts. Facts. You're more powerful than you think. And you're more valuable than you think. But if you understand the framework, the formula, the strategy, and the regimen, okay? FFSG, framework, formula, strategy, regimen, regimen, then you understand what it's going to take. It's going to be a grind if you're willing to do that. Here's the other thing you got to understand as you go through all of this stuff, as you're immersing everything, you got to really intentionally do what needs to be done. What needs to be done? Stop listening to these ACDs. Stop taking in all this stuff. Take a business colonic out of this. Here's the other thing that needs to happen. You need to quickly begin to reassess how you're going to live the rest of your life, whether Trump is here or not, whether Kamala is here or not. No matter, stop. Unplug that shit in the back of your head like the Matrix. Stop, get out of the system and rethink how you're going to live the rest of your life. Here's the stupid thing that I've done the last 20 years. When I didn't get advice, when I didn't get help, when I didn't get instruction, when I get somebody to help me focus on things, I fucked up. I thought I could do it myself. The reality is, many of you are dealing with a fear you should be dealing with because you're fearing the unknown. False evidence appearing real instead of facing everything and rising. Same acronym, same words anyway. The other thing is that what you got to begin to look at is how seriously dedicated are you to your own excellence while helping democracy. And democracy is not the same democracy as it was in the 60s, 70s, 80s. You don't need to be out activism. We got lots of people doing that already. What we need to be doing is marketing the movement. Why? Because Trump is marketing the movement. That's why he's whipping our ass at times. But now we know his tactics. We know his game. Game recognized game. Over. Check out my next video. But in the meanwhile, I want to make sure that maybe I've earned your subscription. Have I earned your subscription? Because you have not heard this from anyone else. Don't tell me you heard something like this from someone else. You might have heard bits and pieces, but you hadn't heard it brought like this. Just keep following me on YouTube, and at the same time, get in my group while you can.